So we are live at the Ontario Liberal Party leadership debate in Sudbury. We're here with candidate Michael Coteau, who's in the leadership race. So thanks for chatting with us for a bit this evening.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Michael, how do you think the debate went?
So I think this is probably our fourth or fifth one, and there's no fireworks, and things don't. It's not like a presidential debate. We're all liberals on the stage. We share pretty much the same values and a lot of agreement. Some small nuances and some ways that we would actually approach the situation, but I think it's a healthy conversation. I think it's the process is being good for the party, and it's getting people out their homes to talk about liberal politics and to talk about how we move forward as a party.
What do you think Liberals that came here tonight are going to take away from this debate?
That there is an energy across the province to build something different, but keep those values that we had as Liberals that we never lost, and rethink rethink the strategy on how to move forward. There are a lot of people who are involved who are new in these rooms that we go to. So that's I think that's exciting, but also a lot of people have been in the fight for decades. So it's reassuring that we have that base support still.
So we talked a lot about policy tonight, and like you said, some nuances. If you could highlight, three that are so important to you, what would those be?
I think it's the approach. Stephen Del Duca keeps talking about this being the fight of our lives. We've got to raise the money, we've got to get the best candidates, we've got to build the policy, and the fight's what we need to focus on. I think all of that's true, but I think there's a huge piece that's missing, and that is understanding what we're fighting for and who we're fighting for. And I think that's what I can bring back into the party, to really understand what our mission is as Liberals, and to rethink what it means to be a Liberal today and reimagine what Ontario may look like tomorrow.
So as a woman who's very passionate about politics, so if I were to, look about getting interested in participating in the Ontario Liberal Party, as a woman, what do you think would make me want to kind of jump on that ship?
If you look at our history as a party, we have been, I would say, a very progressive party, always looking for ways to incorporate many different voices, including women. We're the party that ran the first Black candidate back in 1962 in Etobicoke South, Mr. Brathwaite. The first female premier in the province of Ontario. So a lot of very multicultural, very regionally diverse. We're during Bob Nixon's time an agricultural, rural-based party. Now we seem to move to an urban type of party, and now I like to joke that we're an Ottawa and Don Valley East and West party, which is one, because there's only six of us, right? We've got, of course, Amanda Simard and Michael Gravel up here, right? So Amanda being in near Ottawa, but I mean, we're a party that I think really reflects the forward-thinking approach to politics, and I'm very proud to be part of a party that values the voices of, again, not only women but all Ontarians, and constantly looks for ways to better the playing field for all Ontarians and increase opportunity.
Michael, how do you rebuild the party in a place like Sudbury? Sudbury is maybe a special case, and we've had some interesting times politically here in Sudbury.
Right.
But I think the Liberal Party of Ontario has had interesting times in lots of parts of the province, and there's some rebuilding to do. How do you, as leader, take the party and turn it into a machine that can beat Doug Ford, particularly in 2022?
Well, you've got to have a few basic ingredients. You've got to have people on the ground who actually subscribe to liberal values and beliefs and the ideology behind liberalism. You need to develop a strategy locally. You need to understand the issues that are taking place in this region. But I think most of all, you need to have an honest and fair conversation with people and be honest and authentic. And if you can approach it that way, I think people will naturally align with the party.
Any other policy issues that you want to highlight, or what you would do for Sudbury if you were to be leader?
I know what it feels like to be counted out. You know, I grew up in a neighborhood in Toronto where politicians didn't come around, where people were kind of pushed to the side and just counted out. Yeah, and you know, I may not be from the north, but I know how it feels to be pushed aside. And it's the same voice I hear from rural Ontario, the same voice I hear with Indigenous people in our community, what I hear from women sometimes. Let's tap into that opportunity here in Ontario, and let's not count people out. I believe that the best way to build this province is to maximize our full potential, and that's by making sure that everyone who wants to work hard, anyone who wants to build the province up, will have that opportunity under a Liberal government that recognizes that the best resource in this province is the people. So, yeah.
Michael, a couple quick questions, a couple quick fun questions for you to close out the night for you. You're driving in your car, you've left the campaign staff behind, you've got some time for yourself, you're belting out a song. You're mortified if anyone saw you driving by. What's the song?
Well, I have, it's a tough question for me because I listen to a lot of music, like a lot of music. My favorite music is probably hip hop music. That's what I grew up on. But you know, once in a while, it's funny. I was at the gym several months ago, and I had my earpieces in, and I'm there, and you know, just randomly playing, and I'm listening to some very soft 1970s Elton John. And I'm looking around, my visual all around me. You know, I see all these guys working out, these tough guys, and I'm like, Rocket Man. And it just, you know, I don't know, there was just this contrast in how I felt and the visual around me. So I thought to myself, if this turns on right now, I'm not going to look as cool as these other dudes around me.
Rocket Man by Elton John is the answer.
That's great. I don't think I can beat that one.
No, but listen, if you're driving down the street and it was playing, that's fine. It was the environment I was in that just didn't mix well. So I just love music. I listen to a lot of bluegrass music. I listen to a lot of classical. You know, when it's funny when I do see my friends from the neighborhood and I'm listening to some some Mozart. You know, I will turn it down a bit as I approach them.
So
I'm admitting too much.
No, it's great. So my question, even though I don't think I can beat that, is you talked a lot about sports. Well, a bit about sports anyways. What's the sport if you play sports, best at? What's the one you may be worst at?
This is another kind of like interesting question because I grew up and I had asthma my whole life and it was pretty severe. So my mom tried to put me in sports. Like I played hockey, I played football, but I never excelled because like sometimes I'd have to leave the. So my mom said to me once, "Let's go try bowling." And I actually I played in the local league at Thorncliffe Park, which is right next door to me. And I was amazing. I was like, I had my shoes, my bag, 5-pin bowling, and I just felt really good.
Bowling League and Rocket Man. Those are great answers. Michael Coteau, thanks so much, and best of luck in the campaign.
Thank you. That was a pleasure.
Cheers.